A Doggish bowl, and that one actually stuck in my head for some reason. Okay, before we get into this video, I've had another couple of stickers. I've had one from Lens Pens from Leonard Mandeville. Leonard doesn't have a YouTube or an Instagram, but I got the sticker, so I'm showing it. And I've got one from Clive over at Sneaks Wallet. Clive does some absolutely fantastic stuff. He has a YouTube channel, but his main thing is Instagram, and I'll put a link to both down below. Now, let's get on with this video. Okay, in this video I'm going to do another bowl, but it's a different shape. This kind of bowl, it's got a lot of names, right? It's called a high bowl, a straight wall bowl. One that one of the club members came up with was a Doggish bowl, and that one actually stuck in my head for some reason, because it looked like his dog's bowl. It's a useful design, especially if you want to embellish the inside of a bowl, because you have a perfectly flat surface to do it. Something that I've done a couple of times is a collaboration with local artists where I make these, and he actually paints the inside flat part of the bowl. Right, I have in here a piece of acacia that is roughly 2.5 inches by 10.5 inches. Right, first thing I'm going to do is round it off. Right, so round it off. Now, something you've got to watch for is when you're rounding off, your last cut for rounding off is also your finished cut. Because remember, the walls on this bowl are straight up and down, and there's a slight crack there, so I'm gonna have to CA it. Right. And then I'll take that extra CA off the side bevel cut when it's dry. So we'll let that dry and I'll be back in a sec. Right, I'll move the camera to the end because we're gonna start in the end now. Flatten it off first. Right, now put it in. I'm going to use a recess or mortise, depending on where you're from. So just going to mark for the mortise. Check for cutting height. Good. Right, so I'm going to put the mortise into it. Right, now this is where this style of bowl changes. Right. Normally, if you're doing a base in a bowl and we're putting a foot on it, we go for the third. Right. But the problem with these is because of the flat base, a third is inherently unstable. So go for about a half. Which is about there. Right, that's where you want a foot to be on one of these bowls, because, as I said, basically they're inherently unstable because of the flat bottom on them. cut into that foot. Drop that tool list. It's about halfway. Right. Now I do not want a huge foot on this. Very, very slight. It's just so that the flat of the bowl is not sitting on the surface. Yeah, that looks good to me. Right, and I want a slight, again, a very, very slight. I'll sort that out in a minute. I'll show you the sort that out in a sec. A very, very slight tilt in from there into there. Now, if you want to check if you're doing that, just put your gouge across it. And what you're looking for is daylight. A little more. Basically, ease off your cut as you come out to the edge. And you'll get it. There we go, I have daylight. Right, now, for here, now that you've done that bit, basically come down that bump with a pull cut and you clean it up and it makes it look a lot better as well. That'll do it. They have a nice, neat, very shallow foot on it. Now, the only thing you've got left to do on the outside of this is to round that edge slightly. Very, very slightly, just round that edge. And that'll do it. Now it's a case of sand and finish the outside of this bowl. Right, so I'll do that and I'll be back then. Now, and why I'm going to do that, I came across this thing. I have a cousin who has cerebral palsy. Right, you know, this isn't sponsored or anything, I just think it's a great flipping thing. And my wife actually came across this kettle. Right. For those, especially in the States, because I know you don't use kettles much over there, a kettle is the single most important thing in an Irish kitchen, probably an English one too. Right, now, because she has cerebral palsy, she has difficulty lifting things, of course. Right, but my wife came across this thing called a Uccello kettle, and it was actually designed by a guy with arthritis. And what it is it's a kettle on a base. Right, and the base tips. Right, I'll probably not explain this well. I'll put a link down below to it. Right, there's a few videos on YouTube and stuff about it. But it means that the kettle can be filled and put into this base. Right, and then when I want to make a cup of tea or something, right, they don't actually have to lift the kettle. It just tips on the base. It's a great flipping thing. as I said, I'll stick a link down below to it because I'm probably not explaining it too well. But as I said, I just thought it was a fantastic thing, and it might be useful to anyone who has difficulty picking things up, or who knows somebody who has difficulty picking things up. Great flipping yoke altogether. And my cousin's been using it now for a few weeks, and she finds it great. Right, so we'll sand this, and I'll be back then. Right, just finishing off buffing. Yeah, I was having a look at the wax was drying. I was having a look at the video I've done already. I didn't really explain that kettle thing too well. So what I'll do is I'll stick up a picture of it here, and you can have a look at roughly what I'm talking about. And there we go. That's also done. Right, we'll take it off and we'll flip it over and start hollowing this. Back in a second. Right then, we're flipped around, and first thing I'm going to do as usual is face it off. Make sure I'm working on a level surface. And I'm going to grab a parting tool and define the width of the bowl. Which I want round about there. And now we're just going to hollow, and I'm going to switch to the other bowl gouge because it's of the reach on this one is big, so I'm going to use the bowl gouge with the smaller handle on it. Now, see what I mean about the reach? I'm way over there. Trying to get that straight cut. Just need a bit more light so we can see that wall. Sorry if this whites out a bit on you. Right, I need to sharpen this gouge just in case it's not eating the edge. You see there, it's starting to fur up. The wall, yeah, the wall's good. Still got a bit to go. Starting to flatten out the base now, just as a guide. Still a little bit there. that transition in there is where everybody seems to have a problem, but there is a cure to it. I'll show you when I get there. Now, when you're going across a bottom like this that you want flat, the same trick that you use on the center of a standard bowl where you go up and down, right? With this one, you go up and you stay up because you're riding the bevel here, but you're riding it acrossways in a straight line. I'm actually cutting above center height here to ride that bevel. Now going down to the middle, keeping that bevel in contact at all times. And you get a flat base. I'm not worried about that negative rake, will take that out of it. Right, now, I still got meat there, not a lot. Right, right, this corner, the transition there, where everybody seems to have, that looks shallow. So let's check this, because that looks shallow. That is shallow. Right, I'm going to cut down more on this, because that is a little shallow. Right, so we got some more here. Now, okay, this transition here, right, so you can get a curve to match here. What you're actually doing is a pull cut, right, using that inner wing, the tip of that inner wing just there, right, just there. You're doing a pull cut and you can come round, right. If you try and push through that, the curve isn't sharp enough to match the one on the outside. So it's kind of like a pull cut you're almost doing. And then when you get out, you go back into the riding the bevel high to get the flat bottom. just down to the centre now. Yeah, that's better. Right, now I'm going to hit that with the big negative rate scraper. Put it on centre height. Now I'm not going to get in there into that transition with the big negative rate scraper. So what I'm going to use is a round carbide held at a 45-degree angle to get right in there. Any sort of a small round scraper will do that for you. That is really tearing out there. Must be punky just there or something. Right, we're going to have to recut that to try and get rid of that. Still there a little bit. Right, I'm going to put an edge on this again to do that cut again. That must be a hunky piece or something just in there. Now, hopefully this will do it. Pick up that cut again. Yeah, did that cure that? It did. Lovely. Right, now we get the sanding and finishing the inside of this. And I'll be back then. Right, just finishing buffing off. And as I said at the start, this design can be very useful if you want to embellish flat surface inside the bowl, or if you just want to do a different design. It also lends itself to puncturing on the outside around the rim. What it's a good one for as well is if somebody brings you a blank that isn't that tall, right, but they're looking for a bowl that has volume in it. This is the most volume you can get out of a bowl. Is this one. It's halfway between a standard bowl and a calabash. There we go, that's what it looks like. Right. I'll take it off now and give you a better look at it. So I'll be back in a sec. Right, so there it is. a 10 1/4 by 2.5 high wall bowl, or Doggish bowl if you prefer. I actually quite like that term. So it's a handy design to have in your repertoire. So if you like the video, if you wouldn't mind clicking the subscribe button, it should be down there. And if you wouldn't mind liking the video, and drop a comment if you want. So I'll see you in the next one.